Hello, I'm Wayne Heili. I'm the Managing Director and CEO of Peninsula Energy. Peninsula Energy today presents a unique opportunity to invest in a uranium production and development company that has a project ready for production, a team in place, contracts for uranium sales, and the opportunity, to be looking at a final investment decision to restart the uranium project in the final bit of the fourth quarter of this year.
Okay, so FID, you're pretty close. Look, you're walking into an amazing thesis for uranium, okay? Energy crises all over the world, energy costs going through the roof, and we've got a ready-made solution in the shape of nuclear energy. Great thesis to be operating and working in. FID, final investment decision, to what? You're talking about to get back into production or to build something?
Yeah, to get back into production. Let's be very clear about that. Peninsula has a facility at the Lance Projects that's been operated, in the period between late 2015 and 2019. We've maintained it since we shut it down in 2019, and we've been restructuring the process chemistry, but today we're ready to go. We're looking at a final investment decision to start operations.
Right. Okay. And then what are the long poles in the tent? I mean, do you need to raise a stack of money to do that?
No, people think we need to raise a great deal of capital because we put a definitive feasibility study out in the earlier part of this year, in August, and that talked about our long-term capital needs to ramp up production to over a 2 million pound per year rate. So people are expecting us to raise the full amount of capital required to go to 2 million pounds a year, but we want to restart the project at its current capacity, far less capital than the market's expecting.
Right, and what are the issues for you? Is it around scale? I mean, you're talking about £1 million and maybe £2 million. Do you need to be bigger than that?
Look, economies of scale play in any mineral resource project. The more we can produce, the better economies of scale we realize. But we need to restart the project. We need to prove our production muscle is really as strong as people know. Our team is great. We have a great amount of experience in production. Today it's get the project started. Let's get the capital to get the project started, the working capital to keep it going, get sales into our contracts, get sales, additional sales into the markets.
Okay, but again, I'm trying to get at the why wouldn't I invest in you today bit, because FID, what are the other considerations? You've already got contracts in place with utilities to I think 2030 we've talked about in the past. If you get into production, how quickly could you get into production after FID?
Following the FID, we're ready to start the project. We've been preparing the well fields throughout the year 2022. We've wet tested the well fields. We're ready to start. We're ready to run the plant facility. It exists. It's well maintained. It's ready to go. It's just a matter of pushing buttons and getting the project started. So following FID, we can be conditioning well fields and getting ready for commercial production in very short order, less than a month.
In less than 1 month?
To get the project running again. Well fields take a little
But how long to production? Get it running again is one thing. Production equals money. So how long to that point?
I'm pretty certain that by the second quarter of operations, we'll be reporting some substantial uranium production.
Okay, interesting. And what are the other kind of the long lead items for you in terms of making that decision? Is there anything else that's holding you back from making that decision? Does the market concern you right now?
The market does not concern me. The market opportunities for uranium are tremendous. The U.S. government looking at funding lots of domestic production initiatives. We have the U.S. Utilities looking for diversity of supply. The market opportunities are tremendous for us right now. We have the contract base that supports our production decision. This is really easy for us right now. The long poles in the tent is the stuff we've worked on throughout the course of 2022. We've tried to take away the risks and make this an easy decision.
Right, and you're an Aussie company with an asset in the US, Wyoming. How is the kind of share register looking in terms of getting US investors on board? Because they seem to move the needle for a lot of companies.
Yeah, in the last couple of years, we've been continuously growing our U.S. presence. We have probably 20 to 25% of our share registry now is North American. And that means shares are migrating from the hands of Australians to U.S. investors. We're focused on the U.S. investor market. I think that our U.S. peers, our U.S. traded peers, realize a premium compared to the valuations that Peninsula realizes today, and there's a lot of opportunity for us in the coming months and years to enhance our North American presence.
Okay, so why don't I just invest in some of those North American potential operators or developers as they are now instead of you?
Well, if you're looking for a company that's undervalued relative to their peers, you're going to invest in Peninsula. If you're looking for a company that's ready for production, you're going to invest in Peninsula. If you're looking for a company that has contracts that are going to support ongoing production into the next decade, you're going to invest in Peninsula. We have all those pieces in place now.
Yeah, but your share price doesn't say that right now. So again, should I be nervous about that?
No, I think it's partly the expectation that the market has that we're going to raise a huge amount of money, which is an unfounded expectation, and then the expectation, really, how well will a producer perform. We're going to be at the front of the pack in uranium producers. All eyes are going to be on us. How well can we perform? I have a great deal of confidence in the team that works for Peninsula, the staff that's going to put the project back into production, and all of the preparedness that we've gone through over the last couple of years. Investors need to find that confidence.
Right. Okay. I guess given the recency of the DFS, you're kind of confident around the cost environment. There's no concerns there for you. But what concerns do you have looking ahead at the uranium space and how you insert yourself into the US ecosystem? Lots of money swooshing around. Are you expecting to get some of that, or really is it a case of get your head down and actually get into production and see what happens?
I think the demand for uranium is going to far outstrip the supply. The concern for me is how quickly can we ramp this project up and meet the greater demand of the markets. And how do we fund the enhanced production capacity of the Lance project with its 50+ million pounds of uranium resources? And where do we diversify? Where do we bring on additional uranium production opportunities?
Well, there you go. There's the next thing, which is we're seeing a lot of M&A in the space. Lots of companies not necessarily wanting to talk about production, but wanting to talk about pounds in the ground, kind of blast from the past, where they're building up portfolios of potential mines. Have you been sort of distracted by solving technical issues and other things? Are you going to now look at other projects, other investment opportunities, whether it be inside your portfolio or outside?
Yeah, definitely. While we've focused really strongly on our Lance projects over the last several years, we haven't ignored the other opportunities. Both in the way of organic growth. Our team is experienced in uranium production in the United States for many decades and has a depth of knowledge that very few teams have on projects and project opportunities. So we've been looking at in-house opportunities to build our portfolio, and we've been looking out, as to other ways to grow the company.
Because we spoke to a very new entrant into the uranium space. In a way, he's been picking up and staking land in Wyoming as well recently, and it seems to be there will be lots of new companies coming along. So you're going to have to come up with ways to kind of stand out and also stay ahead. So what does that look like in terms of your to-do list for 2023? I think you know what I'm talking about.
Look, if I was to put my money down on a company that knows the U.S. uranium space, I'd start with Peninsula. Because of the team and the experience of the team. We know what projects, present really good opportunities, and we know what projects are less than a good opportunity. We don't have to spend our money on stuff that really is not very prospective. Yes, 2023 is going to have a new complexion to it as we ramp up production, which is my expectation for the company in 2023. We're going to be looking at our growth opportunities as well.
Okay, interesting. And do you think that there's going to be enough money in the market? Again, we've seen a lot of the uranium specialist funds be heavily invested in this for the last 3-4 years. Are you starting to see generalists come back in? And if you do need to raise capital, I'm not saying you do, you said clearly that that's under control. Is the money there, and will it come from new sources?
Yes, and yes. The generalist funds are recognizing the opportunity of the nuclear space and the nuclear fuel cycle space. The ability of the U.S. Producers like Peninsula to put projects back into production, and they're going to reward companies that are positioned like Peninsula today, and move forward as Peninsula expects to in the coming months.
Okay, and you're going to be, you feel that, right, you're the next U.S. uranium company to get into production. Already got contracts. I'm trying to remember the sales points. You already got contracts in place. Short term to production, short cost to get back into operation, and that is all I need to know. Anything else that I need to know before I make a decision to invest?
Well, it's just that heavily discounted stock today. Look, we've been working and we've been talking about the right things and doing the right things. The market hasn't fully appreciated us, for who we are and what we're capable of doing. So we're going to step out and we're going to show them what we're capable of doing. And as we do that, we believe we have multiples of opportunity.